Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night, a podcast that deals with the life of yours truly. And now, narrating is Jimmy. 7:30 a.m. J.R.'s first day at the job was interning for his father and the staff seemed very exacting. Amy Orman, one of the staff members, suggested that the Small Business Administration needed to be very stringent with its budget and cut some corners. But another staffer that J.R. liked said that there were some ways of cutting corners that would be beneficial for the SBA. To top it all off, when he got off work and came into his room, into his suite, his cousin Joe had gotten into trouble for bringing in a girl intern, Kelly Zimmerman from Pennsylvania, for a makeout session in the suite. Now, in the front lounge, the Recreation Association of Washington, D.C. is there. People were listing things that they like to do for fun, and J.R. had listed a few. And now he is recommending one of his favorite ideas. What about assembling a Bible study? J.R. said. Separation of church and state. Steve Taser, an intern from upstate New York, said. J.R. got up and walked into the chapel. Amy Kathleen followed him into the chapel. Look, Dad said something like this would happen, and he referred me to Ascension Hills Baptist Church. Amy Orman, one of Uncle Jim's staffers, goes there, recommends it. I'll pick you up tomorrow night and take you to the Bible study. Thank you, Amy Kathleen. I appreciate that so much. "2:30 a.m. Jim wakes up and turns on CNN News. He is sitting there drinking coffee, trying to absorb how things were going his first full day officially back in office. "5:15 a.m. After waking up, showering, and dressing for the day, J.R. goes into the mansion chapel to pray and read the Bible and his devotional. This was to be a habit he would have every day as his quiet time, to enjoy the time together. "7:15 a.m. J.R. had just gotten his tray for breakfast. Boiled eggs, bacon, hash browns, and orange juice, when a woman in a flowing dress and dark red hair came and sat across from him. "Do you remember me? And all we went through, Junior?" "I try not to remember the days when people called me Junior," J.R. said. "Hardly anybody calls me that other than my family. Hardly anybody calls me that anymore. Wait. Holly?" "I'm interning with your father's staff. I figured I would stop by and see you." "Wow. Just you get this far," J.R. said. "I graduated with a fine arts major at UT Austin. Now I'm doing this summer internship and getting ready to do an accelerated MBA of operations management at Georgetown University. That's something I never thought I'd see you do, Jared said. I know, but I promise I've grown. I want to prove to you that I can change. How are you? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Look, I was a fool when we broke up. I should have been a lot more kinder to you, Junior. I know that. We should catch up sometime, Jared said. 8 a.m. JR is in the office of psychology social assessor Bob Cooney to talk about how he was adjusting to life in Washington, D.C., both hectic and curious. 9:30 a.m. JR is at Capitol Hill sitting in the House chamber, thanks to a staffer of his father named Emily, to watch two addresses, one from Congressman Dick Armey and the other one from Newt Gingrich. 11:40 a.m. Instead of going to the usual indoctrination of his father, JR is in the mansion medical examining room to see Dr. Harry Birkeland. Birkeland said that his cortisol levels were dangerously low and to double what the dose whenever he was sick. He also suggested that JR take his first testosterone injection in Washington, D.C. right after the appointment was over. 12 p.m. JR is asked to go upstairs to the kitchen to have a conversation with his father. At first, the conversation starts warm and friendly enough. But then, when JR wouldn't go along with the wishes of his father regarding Holly Hawthorne, things turned into a near serious fight. 12:15 p.m. In the reception area, JR gets his tray and bumps into a tall, blonde, 26-year-old man. Hi, I'm Bill Holm. I'm Bill Hume. I'm staying with your father over the summer. I'm running for Congress. Really? J.R. Hendrick. J.R. said, how's it going? Good grief, Hendrick. When I saw you upstairs, getting on the elevator, and going downstairs to Capitol Hill, you was asking all the interns, how's it going? How's it going? Is that the only calling card that you know? You need to forgive me. That is something that I usually say, around Texas. Other than touring the country a little bit last summer, I haven't been outside of Texas all that much. So if you could forgive me. Hey, it's alright. I'm a friend of Amy Kathleen's. Yeah, I know, and your suite is 2 doors down for me. You should come by sometime. We play video games on the weekends. Anybody that's prosperous is there. 2:35 p.m. JR is in the upstairs kitchen with John Gardens discussing kitchen table issues, namely about how it fits into the SBA budget. JR is intrigued by that. Shortly before that, he had gone to the office of Debbie Castellano, the career development evaluator. Together, they got on the phone with Dean Satie, who said that there was one course that JR had to take before proceeding with his public affairs course. And that was any philosophy course that had to do with ethics. JR was pretty skeptical about such things. 4:30 p.m. JR is in his room studying the career materials given to him by by David Castellano. He's pretty intrigued by such things, but then he wants to check out the social scene. So he goes into the mansion snack room and bumps into one of his old friends from Reese Prep School, Mike Varble. "Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time," JR said. "Never thought I'd see you here. Last I heard from you, first you were going to Texas Tech, and then you were studying human development at UT Austin. Things have changed. I graduated from UT Austin. I'm studied in Georgetown. I met this powerful girl. Things are great." Suddenly, a tall, dark brown-haired woman rushes over to shake JR's hand. "I'm Kristen Wild. I've been interning here since February. Your father is an amazing man. He put us together," Mike said. "6 a.m. In the reception room, JR is having hamburgers for dinner. 8 a.m. At Ascension Hills Baptist Church. JR and some of the other college students are being led to a handbook of discipleship lesson based on the 8th chapter of John. Hope you enjoy listening to J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. It's J.R. Hendrick saying, get ready for the rest of the story. Here we go, folks.